Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Tony Shan, and today I'm going to present database as a service. If you take a look here, actually, I have two parts. We're going to talk about the first one, the database implementation today, and on Wednesday, 2:30, I have another one which covers the second part of enablement. So for this part, we're going to talk about how do we programmatically implement database as a service. Now first, let's take a quick look at what do we mean by cloud database. So here's the definition about what do we mean. Literally, you have database is distributed, and you can run it in a cloud. You don't need to manage it, you need to maintain it or provision it. Everything literally behind the scene handled by service provider or any other company which hosts your applications. And here's an example from that particular vendor about database. You can see, well, if you look at the screen on the right side, we have different tables, there are different access data source, which illustrate database in the cloud and the implementation. Next, we're going to talk about what do we mean by cloud database. Literally, it's a kind of distributed database, but everything is actually running in the cloud. Here's some example, like Amazon. We have Amazon RDS. It is one type of cloud database available in the market. And also I put like Salesforce, GoGrid, Rackspace. They all host the different types of cloud databases. Here are some key drivers, which means why do we need a cloud database? Actually, it has a lot of good features, and also in today's world about internet speed, different flexibility of hosting on cloud rather than you manage everything in your own data center, and you have to deal with a lot of things, challenges. Some common features for a cloud database. There's something here, like in a web UI, you don't need to install anything on your laptop or on your console. Rather, use a standard web browser to manage it, to configure, to give permission to different people. There's a management API, which allows you to do different types of like a backup, replication, or anything you want. It's good to use cloud database because it's literally simple to use, very user-friendly interface. I listed some of the things here, like Object Rocket, Rackspace, MongoDB. They provide this kind of database as a service in the cloud. And lastly, quality of service. Really, we talk about the service level agreement and how do we use cloud database to meet these like 4 nines or 5 nines. Really, cloud database provide this kind of flexibility and capabilities. Now, from data model perspective, traditionally we use SQL. In the cloud data space, we also talk about the NoSQL database, like in the CouchDB, Cassandra, MongoDB. So those supplement the traditional data warehouse or a TP type of database. So in combination, SQL and NoSQL, literally you have a very comprehensive set of data models to deal with different data needs. And then from deployment perspective, there are different ways you can deploy your cloud database. Here I put the 3 types. On the left, you can see literally you just hosted your database in the cloud rather than putting your own data center on premise. You can load this to the cloud. The second one is the virtual image. Literally, you have a virtual environment which lets you run your database as a kind of a separate instance on a virtual engine. And the last one on the right side is literally it's a service. You actually don't need to handle the virtual image. Any complexity, any configuration, security, all these things are handled behind the scene. Rather, you use it as a service, you do subscription, you provide whatever the configuration you want, and the instance will be launched and let you to use in a fairly quick format. So let's take a look at the market. We have 2 types of database as we mentioned. SQL data models. You can see virtual machine deployment. We have traditional like Oracle, IBM. And if we look at the SQL data model, on the right side, database as service, there are a variety of products available in the market. We mentioned RDS earlier. Here you can use MySQL or MS SQL, things like that. In the NoSQL space, if you use virtual machine deployment, You can see we have CouchDB, and on Amazon, Hadoop on Amazon, Hive, HBase. In the meantime, if you look at database as a service, there are also a variety of companies that provide the database instances you can use, like SimpleDB, CloudEnd, which actually bought by IBM. So they provide a very good cloud database as a service, and you don't need to do any installation configuration by yourself. Now, database as a service, here's the kind of like a definition. You can see database service literally is a concept providing managed cloud service for database for users like application developers or business users to leverage database in the cloud. I listed some scenarios here, literally how you can size your machine and who can manage your environment and how you can deal with some issues in terms of how do I scale out, what kind of scalability do I need to worry about. Some key capabilities here, I put the 4 areas here. First, the functionality-wise, database as a service really provided the features, fine-grained metering, subscription monitoring, things like here. Some basic functions on the top right. Literally, you can spin off an instance, scale it out, resize instance if you think I need this kind of capacity, but turns out the memory is low or I don't have enough storage. Then you can add them, resize them in a very easy way. And you can add a user, drop user, limited users, or add a privilege to users in a very fast fashion. And then advanced features on the top left, bottom left, different types of things allow you to do to fail over replication and the dashboard in a very quick way. And also, it's a forward thinking. It's a training thing in the market, which allows you to do like auto scaling. How do I do auto recovery in terms of disaster? So there are a lot of good features to leverage database as a service over here. And in this slide, list some pros and cons. Of course, there are a lot of good features we know, we are aware of, lots of talks, including this conference. But there are some pitfalls you need to be aware of. So there's some disadvantages on the right side. You need to see, you don't have the full control. Just like in your database data center, you can do everything you want. Here, because of it in the cloud, there's a limitation you can do. Also, potentially, there's some privacy issues because the data is not in your cloud center. It's not under your firewall. So how do we deal with, the security, the data privacy, who owns the data, or if there's an issue with the data, how should we resolve this? So you need to be aware of these pitfalls when you leverage database as a service. On this slide, I list some requirements. Basically, from business perspective, why should we use what kind of key user benefits we leverage this one? In the middle, you can see the technical considerations. Really, these are the technical requirements to leverage database as a service. And specifically, we break down into functional requirements and the non-functional requirements. So if we look at the right column, let's say, like a conditional update, transaction as a functional features that a database as a service need to provide. On the other hand, you really need to worry about the non-functional requirements because a lot of times it's defined in your service level agreement. You don't control these things, you just use it. So you need to worry about, how about elasticity? How do I scale up, scale down? Scale it out. How do I have the availability? Things like that. So these are important for you to list this out, clearly specify what's needed, then go to the service provider to see who are the best partners to provide these capabilities with the lowest cost and with minimum risks. So you can compare different options and select the best one. There's some choices here. On the left side, you can select the public options, which means public cloud, what you can do. Like 2:30. You're welcome to attend that session. And over there, I will talk about how we can implement this framework and also bring a case study to address what needs to be done, what things we learned, what kind of best practice that can be replicated or used, leveraged in other places. Thank you for coming.